Hello everyone, and welcome to a new video. How are you and how is your journey going on? Hopefully you guys are in a better position than myself if you are wondering. I got the couple duo treatment, and that means I had plenty of free time this weekend and decided to play some games, and I am not going to lie. It was a huge disaster for mainly two reasons. First, the weekend is a red flag, because every couple will play League and most likely I'll get the duo lovers. Second, they will go for the new champion Smolder and they will keep glorifying their bad plays until the solo laners will lose their sanity. So yeah, definitely not a good experience, and my humble request to all your lovers duo, just play Aram. Your affection to each other only make the duo bot experience worse for one crucial reason. You can't break up with your girlfriend or boyfriend if he or she is stupid in League. But in this game, I was a bit tilted to the point that I have become the main issue and was making mistakes left and right. Sad life. This will be my first game dying after an invade in around 20 games. Trust me, this is not as bad as it seems. We gave our solo laners some time to gain the priority over their lane. In fact, this is only bad if my solo laners have a weak mentality. They will simply go into questioning my calls. But we managed to recover in the main scene by ganking for our Aurelia. But I never imagined that Aurelia will be having a hard time against Yorick. It seems that the new buffs are effective. Maybe a bit too much effective because this player is bad on Aurelia beyond compare. And that is a huge red flag for any jungler. If only she or he took the kill. But later on I'll regret even showing up on this lane. From my point of view, I shouldn't allow Yorick to get these void grubs at any cost, because with one push the game will be over. And why I know this? Because I also play Yorick in the jungle and I know the true power of that champion. If you ignore Yorick for 1 to 2 minutes, you can say bye-bye to the game. Also, we have another issue in this game. After the mid-game, there is no amount of defensive stats that will keep us safe from this composition. Against Brand, we can't play Glass Cannon Volibear. The winner version of Volibear doesn't do that hot, and I think Volibear wins against Brand when the team is above average or ahead. Otherwise, it is impossible to recover against that champion. This shows that my solo laners are partially blind, because I'll get jumped for free. This is the most annoying thing that can happen to any jungler, and that is trading kills for no particular reason. This is the first time in my life that I see a Nautilus so scared that he is behind the enemy carry. And with this second play, I tilted myself to oblivion. Right now, I have only one idea in my mind, and that is, why am I wasting my time with these calls? If you want to know why Volibear doesn't do good against most of the new champions, this is due to his ultimate cooldown, and it goes as the following: 160 seconds, 140 seconds, and 120 seconds. In other words, without any cooldown, you need to wait 2 minutes to use your tier 3 ultimate. Hence, if you use your ultimate and get nothing out of that play, you are pretty much useless unless you have some items that make you viable in fights and skirmishes. Now back to this game. Let's say you are dying out of COVID or radiation and you have two choices: hide in the basement and send your family a message of love and goodbye, or go hug them and cry why we are poor and you guys can't afford my medication bills. I don't know about you guys, but we all know what this Vladimir will do in that situation. Now, if I had my ultimate, this guy would be a dead burning bush with his fellow crow lover, but due to many circumstances, it is lacking only 10 seconds, and the enemy get a free round. Now, as a jungler in League, you don't get points out of trying. You only advance through succeeding in making good calls. And not every game is your average or good game. Sometimes settling for a useless call is better than forcing a bad call into dying for no reason. I admit this is my honest mistake. The simple fact of me being here enforces into the subconscious of Aurelia that she is doing a good thing. But my true intention is to tell him just farm and be patient. If you let him push into our tower, we can kill him. Being around bad player will promote regrettable behavior. The correct play in this exact situation was to leave this guy die again and again and again until he reached the critical mass point of 10 deaths. And that when his brain might realize that this is the time to power spike, since you are playing a champion with over than 13 skins or so, it means you are broken. Riot have this policy that flashy plays are synonyms to smart plays. That is why anything that have unlimited mobility and reset on kills will have a higher number of skins. The only exception is champions that promote another aspect, for example, that display cuteness or royalty theme. They tried that with Gnar and Volibear or Azir, but it seems it didn't work out due to the lack of regular productivity of new skins. Now back to this situation that we are in, we have a negative score. 3 plays that didn't work out. After watching this replay, I think the good play would be to invade the enemy jungler for one reason, but in the heat of the battle you go sometimes for a safer call to guarantee some level of advancement. But let's say for the sake of argument that I went and challenged Brand in his jungle, there is one scenario for sure. We will both trade our ultimate spell and most likely both die, but his ultimate is way important than mine, and that will give my team a room to make solo plays and perhaps win their lanes. I'll make sure to create a huge wallpaper of ideas to always keep in mind when I feel lost within a game. Now this is a fishy situation. Vladimir still got his ultimate spell and we are 2 against 2.5 or maybe 3. Let's not disrespect Swain, but he is a bit low and I feel they can't kill me right away. So you would assume the correct play would be to wait for reinforcements and force the Drake. Well, what happened is completely the opposite. I went and started the Drake and Vlad went and faced them all 3 by himself. The ultimate delusion of Vlad Dracula Tepesh and died anyway. So yeah, more tilt from my own allies, and right at this instance I think this is hopeless, and I might switch to the split push and try killing Yorick in a duel hopefully. But I managed to get an insignificant Drake and run away, thank God. Luck is still a little bit on my side with the objective calls. I'm truly wondering, Riot buffed Ghost and now everyone is using it. I do get a lot out from Ghost than Flash, but having them both it is really obnoxious. And if the player get lucidity boots, it is truly a shit show. Can't kill him, can't chase him, and if he hides like a rat for 3 minutes he is back in a safe spot again. I think they need to do something so that range characters and melee ones doesn't have the same benefits out of the same spell similar to items. Maybe Flash is better on range champion and Ghost is better on melee champions to even out the playing field a bit. I guess we are about to witness my 4th mistake or 5th. To be honest, I lost counting. This game is a consecutive events of bad and good plays that only push us toward a loss. The enemy lost only 1 tower, and Aurelia is dying against the new buffed Yorick, and my mistake is not taking any armor. What tilted me the most is that this Aurelia is trying to kite out a champion that is not focusing her. There is a rule: if you get ganked, try to kill the jungler, because in most situations he will be more squishy than your lane opponent, and your enemy laner is already used to your playstyle. Hence you can outplay him or pull some fancy 1v2 play. But since I'm already tilted, I really wanted to give up and start a new game or simply go to sleep. A shit weekend with a shittier games. I think this was my 3rd or 4th loss in a row on Friday. Since my team voted no, it means 2 out of 3 players want to win, and that only puts me in a situation where I should try to win this game. First, let's use our Yorick knowledge. Whenever my maiden is dead, I am pretty much useless. So I'll stop focusing Yorick at all and go directly for his maiden. Yorick suffers from the same problem as Volibear. Very long timer on his ultimate, not as long as Voli, but it hits a bit harder than other champions. Second part is all games are won with the same method, by taking the Nexus, and we have something that is to our advantage. We can take the enemy by surprise and simply push for the end if we can catch them off guard, and that exactly what we will be looking to accomplish. Fuck my useless calls and bad playstyle in this game, and to hell with feeding teammates. Sometimes you are your own enemy, and even in that situation, you should try to win that battle too. For us to have any sort of power in our solo play, we need Baron buff. If we take it out of the map, the enemy can't take. And if we don't use it, we got at least ourselves some few minutes of peace of mind, where we can do a mini reset and get some gold and experience going on. The only thing that we can lose is a dragon and some towers, maybe also an inhibitor and some allies, but these are not something we didn't already lose many times, and here we are still in the game trying to pull something off and call it a win. Regarding our build, I wanted to go for a sustained full tenacity build, to keep swinging in the heat of the battle until I come victorious, or I die trying, and the build would go like this: Sundered Sky into a Sterix Gauge and Wit's End, and throw a Rift Maker with Jackshoe. The only issue is we lack a bit of armor, and I didn't expect that the new Yorick would be a walking monster in the Rift. I'll rest Monday and try this build again tomorrow maybe, and hopefully it will work. I have a weird feeling about it. After dying too many times against Yorick, I will only focus his ghouls and maiden, and I am sure that will tilt him. They might buff your champion, but the AI in this game is pretty much garbage, until ChatGPT is not controlling your maiden. Don't expect your supposed wife to listen to all your calls, my dear friend. Now, Yorick, after we killed his wife, he ditched the fight, and Vladimir finally achieved the Castlevania boss level that he was trying to pull off since the early game. All this happened without Aurelia. I guess truly surrounding yourself with bad players will seduce you into making bad plays yourself, and the reverse is also true. If you recall my other game with Azir, the dude that refused to push mid. In this game, Senna understood my pings right away and went to take the first tier tower of mid laner. Yes, this play did manage to fix some of my morale. At least my boat side are partially neutral to their solo laners and not holding a grudge over early game mistakes. I guess ASAP mentality is spreading and more player are against the early forfeit call. Maybe this will be for the best. If I get to play only up to 3 or 5 games a day, I'll only surrender on the last one because I will just try to go to sleep and call it a day if the game is hopeless. Or maybe I'll cook up a new plan, call it the point of no return tailor made for ultimately lost games. Not this time, buddy. I know for a fact killing you right now is not an option, but cutting off your exit route is a piece of cake. The only issue is that I used up my ultimate for that play. On the other hand, on the mini-map I saw a lost ad carry that doesn't have a proper support. There is also this aspect of the game that if the enemy are doing great, it doesn't mean they are happy about it. Perhaps they are flaming each other way harder than you simply due to a cannon minion. Or maybe the mid laner have the faker complex and is flaming the jungler of that kill where you died and he didn't get it. So yeah, always keep a positive mentality. Even though I think I could have made better calls. For example, here is another bad call, but this time I didn't feel sad or tilted about it. I assumed Brand wouldn't burst me with misfortune. In other words, it was a greed call that turned out bad, but at least we got both their ultimates for the next fight. See, good positive mentality. Now we are back because Irelia can't hold her own. We have the same strategy. Be tanky enough to ignore Yorick and kill his maiden. That play is enough to give you a huge advantage against that champion. The rest would be a brawl to the death. Our sustain is much better than his shovel and we have the mobility and tankiness to withstand his DPS. In other words, if we believe in that saying, behind every great man is a great woman, and if we remove the woman, you'll have a useless gravedigger that needs his ghouls to spawn periodically without minions around or another rework for season 15 or so. The enemy took advantage of our play and we ended up trading a Drake for a Baron. Not the best possible outcomes, but we are already behind on gold, and my team right now are trying to force a fight in a deserted area against Brand and Misfortune within the jungle walls. Do you have any idea the misery in that situation? Our optimal battleground would be mid lane where there is multiple routes of escape, and we can kite and play the fight tempo into our favor. But you can't type all of this and some of them burn their spells and resources, and I can't come Rambo-style head-first questions later to even out this team fight. Hence the only possible course of actions is the be the hero my team needs but does not deserve. I'll waste their time and sacrifice my life for the barren duration. And hopefully it will be enough to stop the enemy team momentum and give us a breather to think for a better solution to end this misery. One death, but a glorious death nevertheless, and I even forced Swain to flash. Great success. Now my team again forced to play in the mid lane, and since I am already muting them, it must be Vladimir forcing his way to end the game. To be honest, the only help I can provide in these situations is to kill one, perhaps two players and reset this fight into the Elder Call. Mission accomplished. Not it is time to survive to fight another day. The funny thing is that this guy is really trying to perform plays outside of his reach. And I do feel his lust for victory. But you can't expect others to be always there to cover up for you. Thankfully I am the jungler, and I have a double built-in sustain against jungler monsters. That is why I can recover much faster than recalling and rejoin the fight. Something you get to see only in mid-level fights where the soldiers will go get a bite and some water and come back to the warfield. Lol, he simply blowed up like the 4th of July. Maybe a reminder to chill a bit after a good play and not overstress the team into unnecessary prolonged team fights. The good thing is that we are ahead in kills, but behind in gold and structures. And we got the Soul Drake. Not the best one, but Fire Soul is an average buff in my opinion. Now you would wonder, in your opinion, my dear viewers, what would be the correct call? Elder Drake or Baron buff? If you use your brain correctly, it is neither of them. The only way for the win is forward, and that means through the mid lane. This will put the enemy into a panic attack mode, and some will retreat while the others are already stuck into a chase situation. It is as if you are chasing someone that was in the toilet with his pants down, doesn't know if he should run or stop and fix his situation. I'll make sure to take my time reading what the hell did Rito change in this champion. He simply refused to die. What is going on? Yorick gets a buff and Volibear got 25 extra range on his Q, huh? I think I could have killed him. The next bite would have healed a larger portion, and my undying despair was almost up, but we will never find out. Thank God Aurelia chose wisely and came towards my location. And with this atrocious play and bad series of call, I bid you farewell, my friends, until the next video. Make sure to do the usual. Subscribe, like, and leave a comment on what could have happened if you were in my situation. Thank you all for watching, and peace.